back to the horror show. I'm Marcia Parker.
I'm Marcia Fuego here, and we are doing a special Patreon requested thing that I should probably double check who the actual name behind it is. Dun 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 dun! That's right, we have Hoax, and that is coming, once again, from Scuba Steve. We just reviewed one of your bits, man. Scuba Steve! Yeah, so ironically enough, Marcia and I got to host a advanced screening of this, which was at Phoenix Film Bar here in the Phoenix area, hence the name, Phoenix Film Bar and whatnot. But yeah, it was for Dread Central, who were the ones who were distributing this. It's getting a proper release on October 25th, if I'm not mistaken, and didn't particularly wow me until the twist, which actually, I must admit, the title of this film telegraphs the twist a little bit, and I think it should have been titled something different for that sheer fact. But as a whole, kind of hokey performances, not doing too much new in the Bigfoot genre that I've seen before. It is a found footage, and we've seen some of the found footagey stuff with Bigfoot before. Once again, performances kind of There is a interesting kill or two once that finally happens, and I did enjoy the last 20-25 minutes or so of the film, but aside from that, nothing that I found particularly memorable. How about you, Marcia?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like knock it out of the park, make me fall out my socks awesome. There was a lot of good one-liners that I liked about the movie. I mean, the writing wasn't that bad, to be honest. I mean, you can tell they were running on a budget, and and some of the acting really felt it. But overall, I mean, it was okay. I don't know. I don't want to say I hated the film, but it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, same. And so storyline goes that we meet these very, very stereotypical camping kids at the very beginning of the film. They're out there getting drunk, trying to get laid, all that other stuff, and then there is this creature attack, and that does actually bring some of the only legit gore into the film. Is the first little series of attacks that go down, one in a tent in particular. And so the fallout of that is this TV executive guy who's kind of fallen from grace, and he's trying to find a new project that's going to redeem him, and he wants to do it as kind of a web television, investigative documentary series sort of thing. And he's trying to recruit a team of those to both protect in case there is anything hostile with a Bigfoot creature if they do find one, but also a decent core of scientists that can help him investigate the situation. So they go to a very remote area of Colorado. Beautiful landscapes and everything, I guess, that we will get to when we're talking cinematics and effects and cinematography and whatnot. But yeah, the story is just really a series of is it or isn't? Are we actually encountering a creature? Is there really something out there? And then the twist is when you have the confirmation of whether there is in fact that going on or not, and how big some sort of almost conspiracy aspect may kind of go. But boy, some of these characters are written. They're written hammy and hokey, but it does lead to some amusing lines, like Marcia mentioned, especially from the bitchy alcoholic reporter woman who is just super entitled throughout the entirety of everything, and she's just being kind of teased and yet flirted with depending on which of the men are interacting with her. And then the one who's playing it really straight is the more prestigious scientist woman who is brought along and directly recruited by the TV exec guy. But once you get to the mountain, you don't really see a lot of unexpected things go down until the twist, because there is a twist.
Yep. And also, I really like the security guard. He's an ex-vet. He really steps it up, and
I've seen him in things, and I just could not remember everything.
He's one of those guys that you've seen around, and if you see his face, and you're like, oh, okay, it's that guy. That guy, yeah.
He's very steel-jawed, war-hardened kind of face, but yet he has kind of an amusing little tick to him, where it's kind of like a snide snarkiness of sorts.
And that's where most of my laughs probably came from, was from him. I enjoyed that, and I mean, it's pretty basic story when you think about it. I think what made it at least somewhat tolerable was just the dialogue between the characters made it better, and then some of the kill scenes that we got to see. But
I mean, we can segue there into just the cinematography and the look of the film, because despite working on what I would presume is more of a microscopic budget, it's still the set selection for where they decided to film it and everything. I'm not sure if it's Colorado, but Colorado, but it still looks utterly majestic. This area where they are, from the trees to the forestry to everything, and some of the sweeping camera shots, the drone shots, all of the shot selection is actually pretty tasteful and well put together and seamlessly kind of weaves together. It's not edited in some like oddly jagged fashion. It doesn't feel kind of pedestrian and amateurish. It does feel like there were people behind this that had some sort, at least from the visual standpoint, as far as assembling a good looking film on a smaller budget, that they had their talents in place there. I don't know, effects though, as far as some of the gore and maybe said creature effects too, because this is a Bigfoot movie, you're at least gonna see some stuff eventually.
It felt really hokey when it came to the effects, especially even just the Bigfoot itself.
Yeah.
And then, it just like literally would look like a suit, where I'm pretty sure the guy was wearing sneakers. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see any sneakers, but could have been slippers. I don't know. It was pretty bad. But they didn't do a lot of head-on shots until towards the end anyway.
It did very Jaws in that regard, the quick little glimpses,
it makes
which
sense.
help.
If you don't have the money to get a good Bigfoot costume, I mean, it's not Harry and the Hendersons, let's put it this way. Like, it's really hard to accomplish it, and even Harry and the Hendersons was a little kooky, but still enjoyable. It's probably my favorite Bigfoot out there.
Well, having seen a couple Bigfoot movies in the last year and a half or so, I saw this one called The Man Who Killed Adolf Hitler and the Bigfoot. Weird indie movie that had Sam Elliott, not Sam Elliott from Jurassic Park, but the Sam Elliott who advertises the banquet beer and all that stuff, with the mustache. He's in Big Lebowski and everything. So it's him killing Hitler in World War II and then going out into the remote areas of the Northwest and finding Bigfoot and killing him. And then another one Cecil and I saw was called Primal, I want to say. Primal, he's nodding. I just looked off camera just to double check. Primal had some really good looking Bigfoot stuff, and so that's probably one of the more that I'm going to kind of compare everything to as far as these recent Sasquatch sort of films. And this one unfortunately couldn't hold a candle to that sort of creature design, and so that was another thing. But, beautiful locales and amusing performances that, while silly at times, I felt like were written that way specifically, like you were implying.
Yeah, distraction.
So, yeah. And I still contend, I like the twist in this movie. It kind of turns it on its head a little bit without spoiling stuff.
I mean, it does. To me, I thought it was a little unexpected, but it also felt a little out of place.
Maybe.
Because there wasn't, I don't think there was enough context, but at the end of the day, you're like, all right, that was cool. I watched it.
Yeah, we've seen and reviewed far worse films
on
here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, this
Hoax.
is not
Seriously.
the bottom of the line. I feel like if you are into creature movies and you want to see something different, this is definitely something you should put on your list, because it's not your typical, Bigfoot movie. There is that twist that's really fun.
And if you like found footage, too. I'm usually not the biggest fan of it. I know you're more so okay to that sort of format, right?
Depending on the found footage film, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, a little more tolerant than myself. So, yeah, if you like found footage, and especially if you dig Sasquatch, Bigfoot sort of stuff, abominable snowman, whatever sort of thing, and, beautiful remote areas of the wilderness, hey, give it a shot. You may actually dig this a lot more. We had friends at the screening when we showcased this that loved it. So art is subjective and to each their own. And we got to thank Scuba Steve once more for requesting us to check this out. And yes, if you want to become a patron, a patron, I should say, here on the Patreon, make sure if you're seeing this on the regular YouTube channel to jump to the link below, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. And we look forward to bringing you more spooktacular stuff very soon. So until then, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
Marcia Parker.
And remember, peeps, stay scared.